Tuya HQ, the one-stop shop for everything World Cup 2026 related, reactions, player analysis, everything that our thoughts and just opinions on matches. We just finished the round of eight, which is the quarterfinals. Just behind us, the semifinals is ahead of us. So we have our usual panelists. Cheese, Arsenal champion.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Arsenal champion, and yeah, well, just before we came on air,
One
we
champion.
were just we were just talking about just the matches that will go match by match. In the quarterfinal was just four matches, so we'll go match by match and give you our take, and then at the end we'll summarize everything and give our impressions on the semifinal that's coming up. So to jump to start things off, France, Morocco. The scoreline was 2-0 at the end. What are your thoughts? Let's go around the panel.
I'm gonna jump in here first. Business as usual from France, but before we even talk about France, I need to salute Morocco. I
Yes.
think there's been a lot of controversy about whether they are the best team in Africa, especially after what happened in AFCON. Very controversial. I don't think they deserve the title for AFCON. I think Senegal are the rightful winners, but this
Mhm.
World Cup, to me, they have
Proved.
proven that they are the best
Mhm.
team in Africa right now.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Right?
Mhm.
I'm with you. I'm
But
with you.
yeah, that's all I have to say about that game. France did what France do. We're not surprised, but I will speak to Morocco. They have really proven that they are the best team in Africa. Because even though we know they had potential, they showed up every game, even against
And
France. Remember,
they gave France a top goal. I was gonna say.
yeah,
Mhm.
I mean
Mhm.
General Mbappe to the rescue and Dembele, but
Dictator Mbappe. Go
yeah,
ahead,
I'll give
Arsenal
respect to
champion.
I'll give them the respect. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, Chigs. And this Morocco team, I also agree that when it comes on to African teams, we have to give it to Morocco. I think right now they are the team in Africa, even though I also agree that that AFCON should go to Senegal. But moving away from the politics of that, they did well this World Cup. I think they landed just about where they should land in terms
Hmm.
of the ranking of teams in the world right now. They are there about in terms of they can rub shoulders with the top teams, but when it comes
Yes.
to the next tier, they will fall a bit short. And I think that is what we saw playing out in that game against France, because France is, in my opinion, the best team in the world right now. And when they needed to turn it on, they have a few players. We know the outstanding one is Kylian, and we all said that we think that Kylian will be the man for the World Cup in terms of goals, and he showed that. Whenever the chips are down, Kylian went in that France shirt is no joke. You know what I mean? I see that penalty miss, and people are holding their head, but I'm like, just hold on. He's coming
Yeah.
back because
Hmm.
that is the beast that he is in the France shirt. And this World Cup overall, it gave me a new respect for Kylian. I loved him as a footballer before the World Cup, but this World Cup, I saw sides of him that I did not see before. Maybe because we are all Premier League fans and we don't watch him week in, week out. But I saw sides of him, a leadership side, a side that,
Yes.
a mature side, a hunger, you know what I mean? And that game, it played out just how I thought. I will say one thing about Morocco is that they have some players that and I think we all do this when we're watching the World Cup. We're kind of on scouting missions. I'm like,
Hmm.
I'll take him at Arsenal. I'll take him. So what I mean. So I see a couple of players that I'm like, these players are really good. Yassin, he was injured for the France game. Their striker. I think he's going to Bayern Munich. But
Yes, Cavari.
he's a very good player.
Hmm.
Boadi, I think, is also very good, very young, but he is the Saliba of his position. That's how I think of him from an Arsenal fan perspective. But I think it was a good game. It turned out how I expected it to go. France just turned it up a notch, and then they were in control. But I will say, as she, I reiterate that hats off to Morocco. I think they did well, and I think they have nothing to be ashamed of for this World Cup. Brahim Diaz, he as well. I want to point him out because he showed up with a lot of assists in this World Cup, and that he should do. He should be one of the leaders in this team, and I think he did a great job overall in the World Cup. But I'm gonna pass it to KJ.
No, absolutely. And I will echo what you both have said regarding Morocco. The whole AFCON debacle, we'll put that to the side. We're discussing the World Cup now. And in this World Cup, I can say that Morocco showed up and showed out. All their matches were won and won convincingly. They played aggressive football, they played offensive football, and even against France, which they lost, they gave France a run for their money. So I think Morocco is they should hold their heads high and be proud of their performance and what they did during this tournament, and to go out in the 1/8 stage for a tournament that included 48 teams. That's a good job. So big ups Morocco. But again, like France, what having to be said about France on this podcast? It's like they have different levels, and if you think that they've reached the level that they have the optimum level, they have another level that they can go up to, and
Mhm.
that's exactly what they showed. And as Conrad said, after the penalty missed by Mbappe, there's musings and people saying, watch out and things like that. But I was like, this France team with the weapons that they have, they can climb up to ladder upon ladder upon ladder. So,
Yeah, yeah.
again, I'll echo what we both said. There was no surprise that France won, but Morocco accounted for themselves, very, 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 very proudly. So they should
I
keep
want
their
I
heads
want
high.
I
Go
want to
for it.
elevate. I want to elevate one player that I think is going under the radar to align with my scouting mission that I'm on here, and that is Kone. I think that midfielder for France,
Yes. Yes.
he
Number
has been
six.
very good,
Number
and
six. Yep.
exactly, and we're in the realms of the transfer market, and 100 million is being banded around, 100 and whatever million, and I'm thinking this midfielder right here. I haven't seen a move in the midfield position as yet that is better than what I'm seeing from this guy. I think he is very settled. He can string the ball. He knows how to shield the ball very well. He's strong in the tackle. He can pass. He can do a lot of controlling. I don't see any weakness to his game, is what I'm saying. And I think I think a big team is going to potentially pick up this guy, and they would be getting a very good player. So I just wanted to elevate that guy.
Let's say this. I didn't want to speak about him because I want him to go under the radar.
Ah,
You are currently in the running for him, and guess how much he costs? 45 million. 40.
Wow.
His club is asking for 45 million for that quality of player. Arsenal don't even look this way. You got players. Man United.
I'm on it, man. Listen. I've been calling Arteta already, my guy.
Like, please, Arsenal, stay away. Man U, please lock the 45 million is a steal. But one last thing I'll say about this game, because we've talked about it for quite a long time. I genuinely believe that France is still in third gear. I
Yes.
don't think we've seen France in full capacity. And this next game coming, which we're going to talk about later, they're going to need to take up a gear. And I think we're going to see something crazy in the
Yeah,
next game.
yeah. I'm with you.
Absolutely.
So I'll leave it there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So the next quarterfinal match we're going to touch on is Belgium Spain. It ended 2-1, I believe, in favor of Spain. But go for it, finalists.
I'll go again first. Spain are bandits, yo. They have been creepily. No, I don't. I didn't even realize these guys haven't conceded a goal all World Cup. This is the
Yeah,
first goal they conceded.
uh-huh.
I know
Yeah,
Spain is good. I
yeah.
expected to see them in the final, but they have slowly,
Mhm.
quietly played well. They had some hiccups, but you know what? Nowadays, tying to Capo Verde is no longer a hiccup. That's a
Oh
good
yeah.
score. You
Oh
guys
yeah.
try. That's not a
Oh
hiccup.
yeah.
You did
Oh
that.
yeah.
Last thing I'll say about this game, two things I'll say. Belgium are very unlucky injury wise. Like we know Onana got injured.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? Their captain.
Couture got injured as
Courtois
well.
got
Got
injured,
subbed
but their
off.
captain got injured in warm up.
Oh,
What's his name for
Tillemans.
Aston
Yeah,
Villa?
Yuri
Tielemans.
Tillemans. Mm-hmm.
Very unlucky. But one thing I'll say is this: I don't even know what to call him. This Arsenal player that just pops up, Mourinho. The amount of last minute, last ditch goals this guy has. I saw him subbing in. I was like, watch him score. And
Yep.
guess what? I'll
Listen,
stop
man.
right there. I'm mad.
Listen, man. I have to jump in right there. This guy, and I think some Arsenal fans. And when I talk football, sometimes I have to be quiet when I hear people talking nonsense because I'm like, you don't understand the game, and it doesn't make sense for me to waste
Mm-hmm.
my breath and engage in a debate with you. And some Arsenal fans are like that, even though we're not talking club football. And I'm saying this specifically because of this guy. He is a big
Mm-hmm.
game player. The occasion
Mm-hmm.
is never too big for him. He is a
Mm-hmm.
clutch player, and a lot of people, if you don't watch Arsenal, you don't really appreciate what this guy does. But I can bring you back to game after game. I can bring your mind back to the Newcastle game when he got subbed in the early part of the season. He got us a goal under those high pressure situations. It takes a
Mm-hmm.
special player to perform at these levels, and he's one of those players. He's not afraid. He's coming on, and I don't know if he ever been subbed on in a game, but any elite athlete, when you're replacing someone on your
Mm-hmm.
team, the thought in your
Mm-hmm.
mind should be, I am going to score. Even if it
Yep.
doesn't happen, and this is this guy's mentality. He thinks he's going to score every time. He knows how
And
to
he
sniff out
scores.
a goal. He's so good at it, man. And I'm so happy to see him continue him still doing it on the world stage so everyone can see it. So Mourinho, I love this player. Absolutely love this player. So I was glad to see that. But I'm also going to add to something that Chico said. Since I'm on Spain, let me finish with Spain. I don't think Spain has shown up for the World Cup yet. Is
Yes.
my opinion. Remember, we said that England has arrived at the World Cup and they announced themselves with the Mexico match. I think in the case of Spain, they will have to have that kind of performance against France where they say,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, we are here." But up until this point, I don't think Spain has shown up at the World Cup. It's a little bit disappointing because they are a side that I love to watch. But I still think KJ was talking about gears. I still think Spain they did not, and it's not a thought anymore. I can see it. They have not hit that optimal
Mm-hmm.
Spain level as
Mm-hmm.
yet. I don't think Yamal has shown up to the World Cup as yet. A lot of people are
No.
saying Yamal, but I still think he's go stop go stop go. You know what I mean? So I still think Spain has gears to go, and I think if they do not show it against the French
France.
team, and this is
Mm-hmm.
my prediction, France will embarrass you if you don't show up and you
Yes.
play
Yes.
because, and this is the reason. Spain is not going to sit back. Yes, they haven't conceded, but it's not because Spain is this low block team that, mid block, low block, try to
Mm-hmm.
restrict. That's not the reason why. The reason why is because they have the ball a lot. But the French team, they can press and they press very well. So
Mhm.
you won't be able to have a lot of the ball with France because they want the ball too and they'll keep the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
when they get chances, they'll convert them. So if Spain doesn't come to work against France, they'll get shown up. Even though the opposite can also be true. If France doesn't show up and Spain is like today is the day, they can also outplay France. So it will be an awesome game to watch. You know what I mean? But overall, keeping it Belgium, France, I think Belgium, once that midfield, that spine was gone, they were
Yes.
in
Not
trouble.
Tillemans.
They
Yeah.
were in
Mm-hmm.
trouble. And Yuri Tillemans and Onana, as Cheek said, they were out. So, it's like, okay, you have to perform really well all around here to go through. I want to pick out one player, Eketilera.
The
I think that
Catalan, the Catalan
exactly,
striker. Yeah.
exactly. And the Atalanta player, I think he did
Mm-hmm.
himself very proud. Atalanta should be very proud, the fans, because I did not know much about this guy until he played in this World Cup. But he was amazing in not so much in that game, but leading up to the game. I think
Mhm.
Belgium would have wanted him to put down another one of those performances. Once Courtois got injured, all eyes on the Manchester United supporter on the ground because his guy he had a stinker, man. Like this guy, once that goal,
One of those days, man.
yeah, once that mistake was made, you're like, It's done, it's done." I mean, so I think I also think it was another good game. I think on the balance of play, Spain just deserved it. You know what I mean? So I think that game as well went not like I think it would because of Spain expansiveness, but in the end of the game with the results, I think Spain just deserved to get it.
No, absolutely. And our customary Chigo disappearing and appearing has occurred. So he'll be back soon.
Wow.
Viewers,
Once
don't
I once I
don't be
mentioned the
alarmed.
Manchester United player.
Exactly, exactly. You have to drop off and come back. There he is. But no, my takes on the Belgium Spain game is similar again along the same lines as you and Cheese's takes. Because again, once that Tillemans and Onana midfield was obliterated by injury, I was like, this is going to be interesting. And even though the two of them got injured and they had to be out of the game, I feel like let me add you to the stage. I feel like Belgium accounted for themselves really well. It took
Yeah.
a goalkeeper's error for Spain to get the go-ahead goal. So I think even with the injuries that Belgium had, in their midfield, they still accounted for themselves, and so they should be proud of themselves as a nation, and they're showing on this at this World Cup. But I also agree with what Arsenal champion said about Spain and the gears and the levels of play. I don't think Spain has really won convincingly any match this tournament or play or faced an opposition that's given them, a run for their money to bring out the best in the team. So that's what excites me about this Spain France matchup in the semifinal because France guarantee will be that team that will push you, and then you have to be at your best in order to beat them. So it should be an exciting match coming up. France Spain in the semifinal. Winner gets to go to the final to play for a cup. It's all on the line. You don't have any excuses. So we should look out for that coming up. All right, the next match we're gonna touch on is the Norway England quarterfinal match. Go for it, Chiefs. I know you be foaming
Yo,
at the mouth to jump on this one, so go for it.
so me and an English friend of mine who's also a football coach is getting married. So about 10, 15 of us went to watch the England game yesterday. So I was surrounded by Englishmen. I didn't know wear my England jersey because I'm a punk. I didn't want to get embarrassed just in case. But I was at the game, and I will say this. I'll talk about Norway first. I'll always talk about the team who lost first. They gave England too much respect. I'm an England fan. I'm happy with the
Mhm,
score, but I
mhm,
felt like Norway respected them too much. And
Mm.
their manager, some of the mistakes. There were some things I saw where I knew this game was done. England, the penalty for Jet Spence. If you look, Haaland went and congratulated Kane.
Yeah, he
What are
did.
you doing? Why? There's still time in the game. Why are you congratulating him when he wins the penalty? And it's not to hate on Haaland. I think even Haaland knew that there's something in my team that is not clicking today.
Mm.
Second thing I'll say is the Matt Howler by the coach of or the manager of Norway. When I saw Haaland's name come up on that board, and I
Mm.
see Strand Larson about you've given up on the game. At this point, you're just giving Strand Larson minutes. Because what do
Yeah.
you mean you're 2-1 and you're not adding a striker to Holland? You're taking Holland off for Strand Larson? Anyone who's watched Premier League, I don't need to say anything about this guy. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but he has not delivered the goods yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, Norway, I was pretty disappointed. I expected more of a fight from them, but as always, England, Jude, he's the guy. He is the guy. But one more thing I'll say to that is Harry Kane. I saw Harry Kane put in some tackles on defense yesterday, which I was like, this guy is really giving it all for the team. I don't know if you've noticed, he's scoring goals, but have you noticed Harry Kane's almost like sacrificing himself for the team at the
Yes,
cost of Jude
yes,
Bellingham? Because Jude Bellingham is all up in his space, but Harry Kane's like, no problem, as long as we score. Because I really was struggling with how Jude Bellingham and Kane are going to work. Because Jude Bellingham occupies those spaces where Kane
hmm
should be, right? But
hmm
Kane, he's a baller, man. And I
Yeah,
hate Tottenham, but he's a baller. He sorts himself out and adjusts himself to the game. So well deserved England.
I
I
agree.
feel like it was a comprehensive win. Tuchel, game management. I was not aware of your game, bro. I mean, I realized in Mexico, but his subs, I
yes,
doubted Jet Spence. I was like, what's this guy doing? But he was the right guy for the time. He put
Yeah.
Burn at the right time, heading things all over the place. And again, Pickford had a decent game. So
Mhm.
that's what I think about that game. Great game to watch. But Norway
Yeah.
should have disrespected England a bit more. They were too nice.
I'm going to go a bit opposite the cheeks in regards to Norway, because Norway gave us something at the World Cup that I look for in every World Cup. Iceland gave us in one of the World Cups, and it's a team that
2018,
a lot of people
2018.
love, not just because of
Mm-hmm,
their on-field performance, but because
mm-hmm,
it wasn't there wasn't a big expectation from them, but
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
they bring it on the field, and they bring some of their culture, and you just feel attracted to this team, and that is what Norway was for me. And it was sad to see them go because of what they brought. Now everyone knows how to row a boat. You know what I mean? No, no, everyone knows how to do this Viking row, and
Row,
it is
Viking
something
row.
that is going to be very memorable for this World Cup that Norway has brought. I think that they played better than England, and that will sound contradicting. And I'll tell you what I mean by this. I think that Norway, from a technical perspective, had the better game in terms of England, especially
Mm.
after the first break. And we talked about what these hydration breaks does to a game. And
Mhm.
after that break, you see Norway come in and they say, okay, now we're going to play. And then they start to play, and then they start to play. And I think a big point in the game was when the nine, what's it called? He plays for Atletico Madrid.
Orlov.
Solo.
Darling, he made a huge error when he got that 2 versus 1, I
Yes,
think,
One.
with
yes.
Haaland. And
Pass the ball and Haaland
I don't know what
scores.
he's doing there. I don't
Yep,
know what
yep,
he's doing. And that was a
yep.
major point in the game. And if they had scored that goal, I think the game would have probably turned out differently. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
happen, and I think England deserve it. But I want to give Norway some props. The first goal was an absolute screamer from
Ooh,
Norway. Loved
ooh,
that guy. I
ooh.
don't remember his name, but he performed very well this World Cup as well. What I will say is I want to take it in regards to England to Tuchel's interview, and I'm doing that for a specific reason. He was furious, and a lot of non-football fans, right? And I say, and I love to point this out because a lot of people come in the football sphere when it's World Cup time, and they're like, but they wouldn't understand what he was saying. But I understand totally what he was saying. He was disappointed in the performance, not from a grit perspective, because that is
Mm-hmm.
what won them the match. It is
Mm-hmm.
because of their determination and their sheer will to win that won them the game. It wasn't because they were playing this nice football and they suddenly found it. That's not what won England the game. It's just because Jude Bellingham, I'm going to win this at all costs. Hurricane, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to fight and I'm going to fight and I'm not going to give up. I'm going to Dan Burn coming on, Jet Spence coming on. I'm going to fight and fight and fight. But it wasn't Thomas Tuchel's football that they were playing. That's not how Thomas Tuchel played football. And
Mm-hmm.
that is what he was talking about. He was like, I did not like how we played. What I love about this manager, and I absolutely love him as a manager, he's very proactive when it comes on to his
Mm-hmm.
changes.
Mm-hmm.
Noni Madueke, you are not playing good. Come, 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 come. You're not
Yep.
going back on the pitch. Saka, you need to go in. Okay, I put on Eze in the middle. It's not going how I want it. Okay, I'm going to change it again.
Moving to the
Eze,
left.
you go outside. I'm going to pack the
Mm-hmm,
middle. We need control in the middle.
mm-hmm,
That
mm-hmm.
is how much I admire this guy. And I think what a coach should be doing. You know what I mean? They should be seeing these issues, right? And they should be, it's not like I'm going to put a dig at Roberto Martinez here. We saw nothing like this from him. You know what I mean? And this is where coaches earn their bread in my opinion. I think Thomas Tuchel, kudos to him. I understood exactly what he meant. You know what I mean? By England did not play well, but it was just a sheer grit, the sheer spirit, the Premier League aura that they turned on there. You know what I mean? To win the game. But go for it, KJ. I'm passing it to you.
No, absolutely. And you mentioned Thomas Tuchel and me in a Chelsea shirt. I just died inside because what club in this world would do to get Thomas Tuchel as their manager? But I'll put that aside for now. And again, I'll touch on what both you and Chiefs mentioned. I think from you, Arsenal champion, Norway brought more than just football to this World Cup. Norway brought their culture. They brought a frenzy and a fan fest that was unmatched outside of the football field, and it translated, it permeated to their team. That support from their fans, and the team carried it on the field, and played some really wonderful, really beautiful matches on the field. So congratulations to Norway. They have everything again. Again, they have everything to be proud of for their team. But in this particular match against England, I would say that Norway, before the first hydration break, I was looking at this match and I was like, Norway shouldn't be playing England like Ghana played England. They were too defensive. They were too low block, and I was like, Norway has the weapons in Odegaard and Haaland to hurt England, and so like Norway should be more offensive. But hey, like and also going back to some of the substitutions that the coach made, and Cheeks mentioned this before. You should, if you're pushing for a goal, you don't take Haaland off the field. That should be a
Now,
cardinal rule.
huge mistake.
If there ever is a football manual or a football Bible somewhere, there should be a rule in that says that if you're looking for a goal, never take Haaland off the field. And when he substituted Haaland for Strand Larsen, I was like, come on, this
Yeah.
match is going in the wrong direction for Norway. But
Yeah.
again, it's football. There has to be a winner. There has to be a loser. And the contradictory thing is the winning coach for that match was mad at his team for not playing. But everybody else that saw the match was like, okay, Norway should have done better. So I'll leave with that point. Go for it, Chiefs.
I just want to say this because injury. This is the thing about tournament. This is when like physical maintenance is important. We're seeing some
Mm-hmm,
injuries happening.
Yeah.
Norway lost Rierson
Hmm.
mm-hmm.
throughout this tournament. Maybe it's because his hair is bleached, but he has been a standout player for me in the Norway team. Everyone else I
They're right
expected,
back. They're right
but
back. Yep.
yeah, and he got injured in the 60th minute. And when he got injured, I was like, that's a tough loss. I will say this from everything, Odegaard, you know about him. I have my critiques of Odegaard, but I think he was a great captain. I think he has led this team in the best way. He was a calming presence. Every time Odegaard got the ball, I'm like, yo, this guy is too silky. Someone hack him. The guy is great. But I did not expect that from Rierson. I never heard of this guy before. So I have respect for him. He had a great World Cup. And I hope he gets better soon. I hope someone in the Premier League picks him up because we could use some right backs. Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. And then the final match of this round was Argentina Switzerland. And before we came online, we're discussing this a lot. So I'm eager to hear both your points on your thoughts on this match. Go for it, Arsenal champion.
All right. So this match. So Balotelli had a famous shirt that said, "Why always me?" You remember that shirt?
Yes.
Balotelli. So
Yes.
this is my thought, not in the same context, but why always Argentina? Why always Argentina? Why Everything that's controversial and things that are going in favor of teams has to fall in Argentina play. I don't know. It's baffling, and I hear the argument from supporters saying this looks to be rigged for Argentina to make it to the finals. I can totally hear that argument, right? And they have good evidence to back this argument. But what I will say in this game, I'm going to go on the official side a little bit. I
Mhm.
think that the referee for this game actually did a good job, and I know some people will
Yes.
disagree with that, but I think for the first time, I cannot say that anything that the officials did swung the game in one way or another. And I know that a little bit controversial because Briel Mbola got a second yellow card, but I think that was his fault. I think he was stupid.
Yes.
I think that he should have never done that, knowing that he was on a yellow card. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I hear it, and that's what I mean by why always Argentina. You know what I mean? It what I totally understand the call, but it just happens to be Argentina getting some kind of help. Okay, I'll prop you up a little bit. Again, you know what I mean. But I think I totally understand the call. I understood why he got a yellow because it was simulation, and anyone that plays the game or watches the game and knows the game knows and should understand why that was a yellow card. What I will say is making the game uneven for something that is so
Mhm.
subtle, it felt
Mhm.
a bit off. You know what I mean? I'm
Mhm.
like, I don't really want to see the game uneven because of this. But I can totally understand why they got it. Argentina, up until this point, has not gotten a team that I'm like, ooh, impressive, impressive. They
Mhm.
they they haven't impressed me as yet, and they can do that. And I think the England game is where they might be able to do
Yes.
it. But so far, I think they have been blowing. They have been lukewarm to me. They have been a lukewarm team. They haven't gotten any team that really presses on to them. If they had gotten Colombia, as I was telling the lads, I think that that Colombia team would have given them a good push. I think
Mhm.
probably the Cape Verde game, which no one expected, which is the one of the heroes of this World Cup, gave them their toughest game. I don't think the Switzerland team gave them too much of a fight. Having said that, though, I want to say hats off to Switzerland as a team. Why? Because they always in tournaments they're always making it to the knockout rounds and they always find themselves in and around the
Mhm.
mixture when it comes on to the knockout
Mhm.
game.
Mhm.
When the Embolo yellow card got given, at that point, all the momentum was with Switzerland. It was them taking the game to Argentina, and I'm like, okay, something might happen here. And then it just outed out, any fire that was there, it just got put out, with that yellow card. But that was my take on the game. I think that on the balance of play, top four teams, Argentina is one of those. They should be winning that game, and that is what ended up happening. The circumstances, there are debates here or there, but I'll give the officials one. I think they did well. I don't think there is anything too fishy about the game. But let's see where Argentina goes from here. Let's see if they can turn up the throttle. But so far, they haven't shown up. Go for it, Chief.
Yeah, I'll say with Argentina, I do understand, just like you, that people are saying things look favorable. But this game, there was nothing. There's no funny business this game.
Mhm.
Even
Mhm.
though I still wasn't convinced by Arsenal's performance against Switzerland, there are some good things that came out of
Arsenal,
it,
I
though.
hear.
One of the good things I saw is Messi did not score this game, right? This
Yes.
was one of the first games, and I actually think Switzerland handled Messi pretty well.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
for
yeah,
once,
I'm with
I
you.
saw other players show up for Argentina. That goal by Alvarez, I
Mhm.
salute you, sir.
Salute.
I salute
Yep.
you. And
Yep.
Lautaro Martinez did his thing. I'm always disappointed by him because in Inter is amazing. In Argentina is a bit more quiet, but I can understand. I think if Messi retires, we're gonna see Lautaro Martinez and Alvarez really shine. Maybe. But I will say this. Argentina did well. Honestly, I said the stat earlier. Argentina have not played a team in the top 15 of the world this whole World Cup. This is the highest ranked, not the best team, but the highest ranked team they've played. Switzerland
That
in
is
16th.
man. I didn't know that. That's a mad stat.
That it's
That's a stat.
wild. You got
That's
the
a stat right
semifinal and you
there.
haven't played anyone in the top 15.
That is madness.
What
That's
I will
good.
say is some people might say it's rigged, but honestly, it didn't have to be that way. Anything could have happened along the way that would have ended up with Argentina maybe playing a tough team. So I'll give them benefit of the doubt there. But I do think that they they still haven't impressed me as world champions. I know I'm thinking ahead. I do kind of want Argentina to be in the final because if Argentina play France, which we're not even sure because they're playing Spain, it will be a second episode of the last World Cup final, and we're
Yep,
dealing with a
yep.
very different France now than we were dealing with 4 years ago. Argentina, hats off to you. You won this game. Still not convincing. Don't play with England because they're about to have. I'm telling you, Hurricane Romero and Hurricane. That's about to be a madness because Romero has had to handle Hurricane or Jude Bellingham or Saka. Saka needs to watch out. He might get injured this game because those Argentinians they don't play. But I don't want to say anything too crazy. I'll leave it at
No,
that. Pass to you, coach.
absolutely, absolutely. I agree as well. I feel like Argentina has the weapons. They have the players and the skill to make things happen on the field. But I feel like they have not met an opposition outside of Cape Verde, which nobody expected before the start of this tournament. That has pushed them to the limits. And so I'm really looking forward to them playing England. And like you said, Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham, they've had some nastiness to them this World Cup. And if they're going to match up against Romero and Lisandro Martinez, that's gonna be a madness, if you put it. So really looking
Yeah.
forward to that. I think the stats that you mentioned with Argentina not playing top 15 team in the whole of the World Cup up until now, just that when you mentioned it earlier, I looked up the FIFA rankings, and funny enough, the four teams that are playing in the semifinals, they're all ranked 1 through 4 in FIFA rankings now. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I believe France is number 1, Argentina is number 2, Spain is number 3, and England is number 4. So you either bring your best goods or you go home this next round of matches. But again, Switzerland, I think they handled themselves so like Arsenal champion mentioned. Every tournament they managed to get out into the knockout stages and get into the quarterfinals, round of 16. So I'll give them credit where credit is due. I think they handled themselves just masterfully before the Imbolo red card, and that tilted the balance of play somewhat during the game. So again, like Arsenal champion mentioned, had that red card not come into play, I'm curious to see how the match would have turned out. Maybe Argentina doesn't bang in two more goals, and we don't get that banger from Alvarez. But that's in hindsight. But kudos, Switzerland has every reason to be proud of their performance. But next.